Yeah, talk fast.
So you want to speak?
Thank you very much.
Do you want me to put it on? Okay. I'm very pleased to be here today to talk a little bit about the role of the international community in awareness and action on human rights in Balochistan. Ambassador Haqqani has clearly laid out the issues regarding a stable peace in Pakistan overall. We need to look at Balochistan in this broader context. Still the requirements for a full democracy, the state violence, atrocities against the Baloch people that go right back to 1948, torture, forced disappearances, and murder. I'm going to take one quibble with something you said. You talked about the indifference of the international community regarding Balochistan. I will say, sadly, to a certain extent, it's not, there is indifference, but there's a tremendous lack of knowledge, even awareness of the province of Balochistan, let alone what is going on today and what is going on for decades. And it is also true, though, that those who know, there is and has been indifference. Those in Pakistan who wish to shine a light into this darkness are themselves subjected to state-sponsored intimidation, disappearance, and murder. It's hard for this information to get out. The Baloch diaspora, I commend doing such an extraordinary job in raising awareness around the world, but they are few in number and dispersed. So what they can do, what they've done is extraordinary, but it still is very limited. In this context, then, it is particularly important. It becomes a special responsibility, I say, of the international community to raise awareness and foster action. We in the international community have a responsibility always to speak up for human rights everywhere. It is difficult, of course, to put priorities and highlights. One life is equal to another life. But when it is so difficult for the Baloch people to have their voices heard in this context and for so long, it is a special responsibility of the international community to help magnify that voice. So we must raise awareness of the human rights situation in Balochistan. We must provide a safe space for open discussion of the issues, including of an independent Baloch homeland. Pragmora does not itself support or oppose an independent Balochistan. It's not for us to say. It is most definitely for an independent referendum. I'm Canadian, and I can say, no way do I ever want to see the province of Quebec or Francophone province leave. I never want to see them separate. But I will fight for their right to do so and to vote always, because it is their right. It is not my voice that matters in that. So we tremendously respect the voice of the people in Balochistan. And as we stand up for free speech for the Baloch people and talking about independence and what a future might look like, it's a pretty simple thing, free speech. They're just, you're talking about it. It's not, we know that everybody's talking about it, and yet it's so suppressed. Why doesn't the government, Pakistani government, want people talking about it? Maybe they're a little worried. I believe today that we're at a turning point. I didn't know that, actually, until a few hours ago, and I got a preview of Peter Tatchel's speech. I didn't know that. Pragmora has been concerned with the human rights abuses in Pakistan for a number of years. We're a young organization. We have done little. We've been looking for a nonviolent, concrete, pragmatic action plan to help us go forward, to be able to support, and Peter has articulated that exceptionally well. I see the work and the thought and the knowledge and experience and collaboration that has gone into that. And for us, one member of the international community, this is the missing link. This allows us now to speak to other international organizations. It's an action plan, a roadmap, and I'd say it's an inspiration, really. I could see by your reaction when I read it this morning, I was really taken aback. Here it is. Here's what we've been waiting for. It's not about awareness among the international community. Human rights activists want to act. Government leaders, when I meet with them, always say, what do you want me to do? And I always have an answer. I didn't before with Baluchistan. The media craves action. So I believe that, so I believe that together we can build on what has been done. The United Nations has not lived up to its responsibilities with respect to the Baloch people. And yet in this building, with this panel, with you, with everybody sitting outside, you sort of feel that all things are possible, not by wishing, but by seeing people come together and by the concrete plans. So we have inspiration, we have a path forward, and now for us, international community, you're doing your work, you've done your work, and we are and Peter is in the lead here. But now I feel like we can get to work in supporting you. The silence of the international community cannot and will not continue. So, my Baloch friends and colleagues, we will do better for you and for all of Baluchistan. Change is possible. Thank you.